Welcome back to another episode of Campus Conversations. I'm Joshua.
And I'm Derek. Today we're diving deep into a topic that every college student faces and fears: tests. We're going to explore the types of tests, effective preparations, and strategies for those tests, because that's important.
So let's get started discussing the types of tests college students typically encounter. Derek, what are some of the most common ones?
So we already know we have quizzes. Those are short assessments that pop up frequently throughout the semester, and everybody has their opinions on them. They usually cover a single chapter or a few key concepts of what the teacher teaches.
Right, quizzes may feel low stakes, but they can really add up and affect your overall grade. How do you usually prepare for quizzes?
So me personally, I like to look at my notes because that often helps me remind me of what I learned beforehand. And flashcards are important too. Those help me reinforce what I learned and what I remember from, and keeps my mind fresh.
Really, that's really smart. It's a great strategy. Then we have midterms and final exams. Midterms typically cover the first half of the course's material, while finals covers everything, which makes it way more important than these other little tests.
Yeah, exactly. Those can be pretty intense. Those often usually scare me a lot, but that's natural. It happens sometimes. And remember my first midterm, I was really scared and overwhelmed. I learned to break down the material into smaller sections when I studied it.
Really, that's interesting. It's a very smart approach. It makes it less daunting whenever you're taking a test, makes it way more less stressful, and makes you feel much more prepared about standard tests. What about SATs or GREs?
That's a good point. Standardized tests can be a whole different ballgame. They often require specific preparations because of their format and timing, and they're like hella important.
And let's not forget about performance assessments or presentations depending on the course. You might have to present a project or deliver a speech, which can be very nerve-wracking because if you have a fear of presenting or talking in front of an audience without being prepared and stuff, it can just go very wrong.
Yeah, that's really common though, and it's pretty easy to get out of once you get the hang of things. But everybody has their fears and everything.
Definitely. My first presentation in college was for psychology class. I practiced in front of my friends, which helped a lot, and reviewed just all my slides over and over. And I kept on practicing it because it just so I could feel overall much more confident.
Yeah, that's the hustle. Now that we've covered types of different tests, let's talk about some best ways to prepare for them. What's your go-to method, Joshua?
So, one of my go-to methods is creating a study schedule, and it's very key to make this because it helps you allocate your time effectively and ensures you cover all your topics before the exam. And I also like to map out what I study each day leading up to the test, so I feel much more confident in taking it and in the materials that comes with the test.
Okay. That's a great idea, though. Setting specific goals for each study session makes a huge difference. Instead of just saying, I'll study biology, try saying, I'll review chapters 3, 4, and complete practice questions, and maybe even the IXL.
Like yes, exactly. With this technique, you can use. With this technique, and exactly, let's discuss active learning techniques. This could involve using flashcards, taking practice exams, or even teaching the material to a friend, making you understand the information a lot more and a lot more thoroughly. Because you're explaining it to another person and giving both insight from your friend and yourself.
Teaching is a really good way to teach someone else. Plus, it reveals any gaps in your knowledge and their opinions too. I remember teaching my roommate about economics, and it really helped both of us. We both got good grades on that assignment too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's a great example. If you make study sessions fun, like quizzing each other or creating a game out of it, makes the process much more enjoyable. And also, I feel like you learn a lot more from just using games or using things to really learn the information a lot better instead of just taking regular notes.
Yeah, just like cool math games, it helps you keep you in check and like helps you with your overall thinking strategy.
Absolutely. I try to review a little bit each day rather than cramming it. It helps with retention. If you do need a cram, focus on the most important part, concepts using active recall techniques. And it's also very important to have a good night's sleep beforehand because if you are gonna have a cram for a test, you need good sleep and good eat. Because if you don't, you're just gonna not feel like yourself the next day.
Yeah, I think that's a big problem for me too. Because every time for most tests, I just stay up studying and like often it messes me up a lot.
Yeah, and then the next day you kind of just forget what you learned.
Yeah, and like honestly, I just don't recommend that at all.
Now let's shift gears and talk about strategies for taking tests. What's your first tip, Derek?
First and foremost, and most importantly, you gotta manage your time. Like how I said before, if you don't sleep, then you won't do good. And if you don't study, you won't do good either. Check how much time you have and divide it by the number of questions. This helps you pace yourself and keeps you in check, most of all.
Really, that's super important. Be sure to read the questions carefully. Sometimes questions can have specific requirements that are easy to miss. So take your time when you're taking these tests and make sure you read them right and thoroughly.
If you encounter a tough question, don't stay on it for too long. Move on and come back later. That's what I mostly do. Focus on the questions you know first, and then go back to it.
Yeah, so it can make it a lot more easier to knock out and you feel like you have a lot more time when you're doing the test. And also just to remember to stay calm. And if you're starting to feel anxious, take a few deep breaths to settle your nerves. Like that.
Alright, I see you. Another handy tip, though, is to eliminate obviously wrong answers in the MC questions, the multiple choice questions. This increases your chance if you have to guess, because, well, you gotta cross out the wrong ones that obviously.
Yeah, that look weird or something like
Yeah,
they don't make sense or off topic.
you know what I mean. True, and if you had that opportunity to write down formulas or keep points on scratch paper at the start of the test, do it. It can save you time later.
And you know what I remembered during my math class in the
What is it?
finals? I was really nervous and I used a strategy where I quickly solved all the easier problems first, helped me build confidence before tackling more difficult ones, and made me feel I understood the information a lot more when I got the right answer.
Yeah, that's a really good approach. I had a similar experience too with my history exam. I went through the questions and found that I could answer about 75% right away. It boosted my confidence and saved time for the tougher questions later on.
Exactly, that's what I'm talking about. And that's also about building momentum. Speaking of which, I've learned that taking care of your physical health, like again, getting enough sleep so your body can retain the information. Because if it doesn't retain the information, then whatever you studied the other day doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. So that's why it can drastically, if you eat very well and sleep early, you can drastically improve your focus and performance on that test day.
For sure, I always try to avoid heavy meals too before a test because sometimes if you need to do your business somewhere else, then it can mess up your flow. You know what I mean? So I suggest eating a light snack like fruits or pistachios. Sometimes even Doritos. I like Doritos.
Yeah, Doritos are pretty good. And also hydration is very key. Drink some Gatorade, drink some water. Stay hydrated. It can help you keep your mind sharp. I like to bring a water bottle with me to an exam just in case I get thirsty.
Yeah, I feel like a water bottle right now. So to summarize it all, we've discussed the types of tests, how to prepare for some, and affect different testing techniques. But it's also important to make sure that if you talk to another person while testing, that you may have that feeling sometimes, but it can get you in a lot of trouble too, and it could just mess you up.
Yeah, it's not worth it. But creating a study schedule and engaging in active learning can set you up for success. Remember, test-taking strategies like time management and remembering to stay calm can make a very huge difference. And it's okay
And it's okay to feel nervous sometimes. Just don't let overwhelm you. Preparation is key, and you've got this. Don't let nothing stop you.
Exactly. So whether it's a quiz or a final exam, remember that you can approach it with confidence.
Other than that, you got anything to add to it, Joshua?
No, good luck out there, and remember to keep studying smart and catch you next time.
Thank you for tuning in to Campus Conversations. We hope you feel more prepared for college tests. Goodbye.